Radio waves. The definition of a radio wave is an electromagnetic wave of a frequency between 10 to the 4th to 10 to the 12th hertz, and it's often used for long-distance communication. Its frequency range is about 10 to the 4th to 10 to the 12th hertz.
Radio frequency, RF radiation, which includes radio waves and microwaves, is at the low energy end of the electromagnetic spectrum. It is a type of non-ionizing radiation. Non-ionizing radiation has enough energy to move atoms in a molecule around or cause them to vibrate, but not enough to ionize or remove charged particles such as electrons. RF radiation has lower energy than some other types of non-ionizing radiation, like visible light and infrared, but it has higher energy than extremely low frequency radiation. If radio frequency radiation is absorbed in large enough amounts by materials containing water, such as food, fluids, and body tissues, it can produce heat. This can lead to burns and tissue damage, so be careful.
There was some guy named James Clerk Maxwell. He was a Scottish physicist who also developed the theory of electromagnetism in the 1870s. He predicted the existence of radio waves.
A few moments later.
Heinrich Hertz, a German physicist, applied his theories to the production and reception of radio waves. Essentially, he just made a machine made up of a spark gap attached to an induction coil and a separate spark gap with a receiving antenna. When the waves created by the sparks of the coil were picked up by the receiving antenna, the sparks would jump up in the gap as well. His experiments showed that these signals possess all the properties of electromagnetic waves. Natural radio waves were first discovered in the 1930s by Carl Jansky. He was working with Bell Laboratories. Before he actually discovered anything, everyone thought that only people could generate radio waves. But in the Bell Laboratories, they were detecting static coming off of radio channels. So Jansky tried to figure out where the static was coming from. Surprisingly, it was coming from space. And that's basically how we discovered them.
Waves are used in phones, computers, satellites, radios, television, radar, and computer networks. An interesting phenomenon about radio frequency. A radio wave is created when an electrical field and magnetic field join. Wi-Fi also uses radio waves that are routed through a wireless internet router.